Okay, let's get to work here. What do we... What? This fucking thing again. It's finally time. Fuck it. Hey guys, it is Mike with Become the Night. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all of us on 50,000 subscribers. This is awesome. Be 100% honest with you, never in my wildest would I have ever imagined getting to this many subscribers at this point in my YouTube career. So thank you so much. You guys have been asking for it since the Metallica one. Here it is. No words are necessary. Let's get into it. This is my way of telling you guys I appreciate you a hell of a lot. Oh wow, this is the intro back before they had their little intro, like, sneak peek shit.
It's got really creepy, really fast.
Alright, and herein lies my entire issue with Marilyn Manson. We've already been over the fact that I'm not really into shock value. Go through fucking Rammstein and Slipknot and you'll see all about that. Not only that, but the dude does not have any real vocal talent. I mean, as far as singing goes, no way. Not very good whatsoever. Now, I mean, I will say he knows how to affect his voice pretty well, but he relies extremely heavily on using filters and basically machines to cover up the fact that it sounds like shit naturally. And that's kind of the whole thing. You know, you could say, oh, Marilyn Manson's just using shock value as a crutch. I think he actually believes in it more than just the fact that it's helping him get more popular. We'll touch into that a little bit more later.
Is this supposed to be a vampire reading the Bible?
Might as well be. Although I wouldn't think he's a sycophant.
The Bible.
Satanic music.
Like you kids give a shit about the Bible.
This is like an atheist music video.
Close. I haven't been able to really figure out exactly what the fuck he believes in. I know it's telema or I don't fucking know how to pronounce it, but basically some form of a blend of atheism with Satanism. Somewhere in that wheelhouse lies Marilyn Manson's fucking poor abused brain. And to be fair, I'm sure there's a ton of atheists that find this music video reprehensible, so I would not want that to be a broad brush to be painted across all atheists. It's interesting that that was her first thought, though. Wonder why that is. Comment below. I'm really interested to hear.
This is absolutely terrible.
Here's the thing. This is terrible. It depends on which levels you're talking about. I mean, in the sense of like the shit that he's trying to convey, yeah, I agree. I think the messaging is fucking horrible, but I mean, that's just me. As far as the music video itself, I mean, it's actually pretty good production. And I mean, if he's talking about just in the sense that it's terrible, like it's shocking, then yeah, okay, I'd go with him there. And I think that's kind of what Marilyn Manson was going for. I'll be 100% honest with you. I mean, his music is his weaker half of his performance. I mean, if you go back to his early shit when they were Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids, sorry, there's no way they're getting Marilyn Manson fame by being like that. No fucking way. Case in fucking point.
All right, good for him. Dude, that's insane.
He still has a career? I thought he was dead, actually.
Well, if you look at the way he does his makeup, I would say he is undead. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that Marilyn Manson still is around. I mean, typically these guys fizzle and fade out, but he's managed to stay relevant enough. And I would say that is a testament to his work in and outside of music. I mean, his music isn't totally shit by any means. I don't think it's necessarily strong enough to stand on its own. Him being a collaborator, I could see him actually bringing some good musical ideas to the table.
I like this song.
I'm sorry, I like the original better than his cover. I know everybody loves this version. It was actually a really good version, but I don't know, dude. There's just something about that melody line in the original and something about the synth line in the background that just totally did it for me. Ugh. I remember the first time I ever heard the song was only a tiny snippet in like a compilation, like back in the day when they sold compilation CDs of like greatest hits of like certain genres of music, and there'd be like the little commercial while you're watching TV. They gave you like a little snippet of the song in the music video. Instantly was hooked on that song when I heard that line. That was it. Instantly hooked on it. That's how good of a line it is, man.
Man, I've never seen any of his music videos. Cool.
I really like the original.
His music video production is really good. I gotta say that. The guy definitely doesn't have top tier musical ability as far as like, you know, comparing them to the greatest of the greats. But I mean, as far as being a showman and trying to convey a message and trying to convey a feeling, he's really good at it. He's very good at it. Even musically, I would say he's very good at it. Even though I find him totally obnoxious and kind of disgusting, to be honest. Like, I really don't like Marilyn Manson quite a bit.
Okay, actually, like, what the hell?
Quick piece of trivia. I would love to have a pet pig. Life goals right there.
Do people actually listen to this?
Yeah. And they like it quite a bit, actually.
He's ultimate edge.
He's an interesting dude.
Can you imagine?
Oh, I like this
This
one
is the
too.
first one that
actually
just
like
about
really
everyone
good.
listens
Sounds
to.
good.
I would love to know where he got the inspiration for this music video, because it's just like so bizarre, but really like so effective and goes with the music really well. Really, really, really well.
I want to know how much this guy spends on makeup.
I don't think I could.
That was the one that my dad used to play all the time, and like that was the one that didn't give me nightmares. So I really like that one.
Pretty much, yeah. And that I wouldn't say the other ones give me nightmares, but I'm like similar on, I believe her name's Tori. Tori's Boat here. I really like the song "The Beautiful People." Really don't know what it's about, to be honest with you. Just talking about musically and beat wise, I mean, it's very cool. Got a nice, cool sound palette. An original way of delivering vocals without having to actually sing well, which good on you, Marilyn Manson. And not only that, it came out at the right time, like in the grunge era, where that style of vocal would be more accepted. So definitely a case of right place, right time in a number of these.
This is just not my thing. It just really isn't.
His costumes
fair enough, man.
It's like a fun concert to go to. If you're like dead.
All right, that's probably my favorite moment in that video.
This is really bad. Like, I don't like it.
So here's the thing. I'm not going to dive into opinion-based stuff right now. I'm trying to avoid that at the moment. But there is a certain worldview that would say, hey, whatever you want to do as far as self-expression, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else, go for it. So those would be the people that would see favorably on Marilyn Manson. There are other people that say, yeah, I'm with you there, but what about the psychological impact that might happen by providing this type of dark messaging? And I don't just mean dark in the sense that like it's death-related and foreboding. I mean, there's actually some stuff in here that some people find morally objectionable. That is why he has had so much pushback through his career until lately. I mean, people stopped giving a shit. But that is why he has had so much pushback in his career as far as being, like, he is accused of the Columbine thing. They talk about this later. He was credited with influencing the Columbine shooters to go and basically shoot up their school and have one of the worst mass shootings in American history. I mean, you can try and make the argument that listening to that type of stuff and ingesting that type of stuff into your brain could make their condition worse, but it would have never created that situation in and of itself. So in that sense, it's a bullshit claim. There would have to be some deeply seated bad shit in those kids for this music to even have remotely close to that kind of effect in the first place. So yeah, I'm gonna say he's not to blame. Not only that, blame the fucking parents for letting their kids consume this shit before you blame the artist. But no, I think there is credence to both sides of this argument, and I will let you guys know another time where I lie on it.
Okay, we're getting better. I feel like it's getting better.
I don't. As a vocalist, he's kind of obnoxious to me. I'm not really a big fan. Musically, he's got a good production down and decent composition. The composition really isn't that fantastic for a lot of his songs, though, to be honest with you. I just feel like he typically relies a hell of a lot too much on overproducing. Now, of course, I know that's actually a genre thing because he is more on the industrial side. You know, Rammstein can get that same criticism as well. But to Marilyn Manson's credit, he does do acoustic sets from time to time, or at least acoustic songs during his concerts. So you know what? I might not enjoy them, to be honest with you. I don't hate them, but like I might not enjoy them, but give him some props for bringing it back to being a human, you know? Good job.
I don't know, his music is just so fun to me.
There definitely are some elements, especially more of like his rock anthem type songs that are fun in a sense, musically. Especially when you're yelling along with him and kind of chanting, gets you in the crowd mentality. But I think it is also equally important to examine the meat, the substance of what he is talking about, as well as how much fun it is to take part in it. If we're going strictly by the musical substance of it, I mean, there's some good stuff to it there. The guitar riffs are typically very simple, but I will say they are definitely appropriate for what he's trying to communicate. They weren't just tastelessly just kind of thrown in there for the sake of needing a guitar part. And honestly, I would say that for just about all of the parts in the song, with the exception of the vocal part. The vocal part is definitely where he gets more of his artistic license in there and starts doing some weird shit. Now is not a time where I'll be diving into lyrical substance.
If I was hearing it without the music videos, it might make it a little bit more tolerable. Because I think that the images is just throwing me off.
100% correct.
A very dark place of humanity.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, begging the question, does Marilyn Manson really have that much of an ability to communicate what he's doing visually in a music video through his music? I think sometimes he accomplishes it. I think other times he doesn't as much. And again, I mean, he got his name in the press because he was extreme. So, I mean, that's how he did it, man. Plain and simple.
With music nowadays, it's like empty and it's lifeless, but his like artistry is important to him.
I will 150% agree with that statement. Not only would I not listen to it on my own time, but I mean, even though it might not be the thing that appeals to me, I will have to give the man on a musical level respect for being an artist. He actually is an artist. From the ground up, makes it himself, wants to say what he wants to say, and effectively communicates that. And, as a bonus, does it on his own terms. I mean, there's even a number of metal bands today that you can say aren't that authentic.
So Marilyn Manson is known for always being on the cutting edge of shock, and has even said, "My point on Earth is chaos."
It's one thing to be on the cutting edge of shock. It's another thing to make the statement, the point of my existence is chaos. Chaos for the sake of chaos is not a good thing ever. Chaos as the overarching force in any system whatsoever is also not a good thing. I think there are some positives to chaos. I think there are also some positives to order, and the two should constantly be at odds with each other. When they find some sort of balance is when things are the healthiest. Does Marilyn Manson help bring balance, or does he push it over the edge into the other direction where chaos starts to take more of an edge? I don't know, but all I know is an overabundance of chaos is extraordinarily dangerous on many levels. This is not the platform to dive into that right now, but for another time.
I don't think he'd be where he was today if he wasn't as crazy as he was.
It's like
I'm not the only one that thinks so.
In one way of making it so that the people who do like his, persona and all that, they're happy, then it definitely does good for him there. But to a wider audience, it definitely loses him a good amount of sales.
And that's a very good point. Marilyn Manson is not as well known and well respected in this industry because he was able to pull in the general audience. He is as well known and respected in this industry because, first of all, he is genuine and authentic in what he's trying to throw out there. But secondly, because not only did he find a niche market, but he grew that market. He was partly responsible for making this more of an acceptable thing. I don't think he's really on the cutting edge of shock anymore. Of course, I haven't kept up with him, so I don't know. But I can definitely say in his heyday, he absolutely was. And he pushed the edges. He was a pioneer. He helped change the conversation. And for that point alone, yes, he's missing out on some of the general audience stuff, but he didn't sacrifice his integrity and credibility. And at the same time, has a following and even a business. You could call his successful business, a business. It's growing. It's growing all the time and getting bigger and bigger. Able to go against a number of people in the pop industry. Not like the top tier ones by any means, but I mean, a number of the people that are like lower tier, oh yeah, rivals him for days.
Columbine school shooting in 1999 where it was rumored that the shooters were big fans of his music.
Okay, but like, how many fans does this guy have? Like, of course you're gonna have some crazy fans. That's so stupid.
A lot
Pretty
of the
much.
things that-
There's so many factors. It's like how they're raised, what's surrounding them. Like
Those are probably the two biggest factors. Now, every once in a while, you can actually have people who do have chemical imbalances or genetically something's going on in their neurological system that makes them more disposed to the fight or flight response and really amps it up. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, how you're raised and your surroundings are by far the two biggest contributors to that. And you could make the argument that part of their environment, their surroundings, was Marilyn Manson. But again, I would say that played lesser of a role than physical and mental and sexual abuse.
adults look at our generation and think that, oh, this hip hop and this like Black Ops and Call of Duty and all that kind of stuff.
Now, she specifically calls out hip hop, and this is where I would draw a distinction. Marilyn Manson isn't being 100% serious when he's talking about going out there and like brutalizing people and doing disgusting acts. He's making a show of it. He's trying to do it to release some steam. He is actually making a metaphor in some cases. Not to mention, if you actually look at Marilyn Manson in like regular life, I mean, he's kind of a jerk from time to time. I mean, also, last time I recall, he had a drug and alcohol problem, but I don't know if that's still the case or not. But I mean, he's done a lot of really good stuff too. If you look at his charity work, he's given tons of money, especially money for kids who are for helping kids and teens speak out against physical and sexual abuse. Probably a very large and intense fan demographic of his. Now, flip this on the other side with hip hop. When they're singing about promiscuous sex, when they're singing about how wonderful they are and how much money they have and how that's a good thing and a virtuous thing to be popular and rich, they're talking about it from a very real perspective. They actually do these things in real. I mean, not always. I mean, the fucking, you know, there's the suburban gangsters who talk about gangster life but have never lived it. But I'm not talking about that. The people who are overinflating their egos and talking about how that's a positive thing in their music really do have overinflated egos and really think that they're allowed to do this and it's morally acceptable. There is a very strong distinction I would draw between what Marilyn Manson does and what hip hop artists do.
The music industry has a definite impact on the way we live our lives, depending on who we look up to.
If somebody, I don't think it really pushes people towards anything that they wouldn't have done anyway.
I almost agree with him. I almost do. Like I said before, you need to have that rooted deep inside you to begin with. There could be an argument that listening to that song was like the one last step that you needed to go over the edge, but I think I addressed this in the System of the Down video or the Slipknot video, one or the other. At that point, that song just happened to be there at the wrong time. It could have been anything else that could have also pushed them over the edge. If you're that close to the edge, it doesn't take much to just turn that key a little bit further and suddenly you're done, you're over with. If that makes any sense. So I still don't think the artist should be blamed because they just happen to be wrong place, wrong time with their art.
And finally, now that you've heard more about Marilyn Manson, do you think you'll be interested in checking out his music and his upcoming album?
No, I won't, and that's where I'm going to end the video. Okay. I think Marilyn Manson's stuff is gross. I think his ideas are immature, or I don't even think immature is necessarily the best way of putting it, but ill-advised. But as an artist, he is extraordinarily genuine, and I mean, he's no pushover as far as songwriting and production goes. Just not that good on his own merits, in my opinion. Anyway, thank you guys so much for 50,000 again. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. If you want, you can support me on Patreon. Go to the link in the description. Pledge some money to me on Patreon because even a snob needs to be patronized every once in a while. If you don't want to do a monthly rolling donation, you just want to throw some money at me really quick, you can either do it on PayPal or you can go to my merch store and get some cool merch. And you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Become the Night. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Rock on!